welcome to a Victim Bites Back, episode 72. Back in Britain and on my way to Bromley in Kent. But I have to admit, I do miss the sunshine of my summer breaks. Depressed no longer to be in my shorts and summer costume talking to statues, but off to Bromley in Kent where my dear Carol lives. Carol was my secretary throughout the career and indeed was partly responsible for putting Abba on the map with Waterloo and other hits. Well, I thought I'd actually make my predictions for the Oscars before the Oscars. So this is recorded last weekend, before the Oscars actually took place. Several films will definitely win Oscars. 20 Days in Mariupol will probably win Best Documentary. Excellent. Other films that deserve something: The Zone, great sound, probably win Best Sound. That Sandra Huller, I think is her name, for that, and also Anatomy of a Fall, which I loved. Sadly, Carey Mulligan won't win it for Maestro, Best Actress, but she deserved to, in my opinion. The other contenders I didn't think were as good. The girl in Poor Things, which should win an award or two, was really a caricature rather than a character, I thought. And the girl in the one about the moon, which I thought was a very good film as well, but I didn't think she was particularly good, and she'll only win because she was a Native American, and people do tend to go for gimmicks like that. Best film will obviously be Oppenheimer, but actually I thought it was an hour too long. Very good, but an hour too long. I actually thought Barbie was better than Oppenheimer, and I thought several of the other contenders for Film of the Year were actually better than Oppenheimer, although I did enjoy Oppenheimer. An excellent film, an absolute shoo-in, but only because there's nothing else there that really is going to be a runaway winner. But those are my Oscar predictions. By now you'll know which ones were right and which ones were wrong. But some very good films that I thoroughly enjoyed last year, and I did manage to get to see most of them. I'm a huge fan of Talking Pictures TV, and managed to get up very early one morning, about 6 o'clock, when Wings of the Morning, a 1937 movie, was on. Fascinating how different the world and films and acting were back then. In glorious colour in 1937, Annabella looks nothing like a boy, which she pretends to be. Remember, homosexuality was a crime then, and unheard of, though rife in acting world. I've never heard of Annabella, but she was a huge French star in the last century and married to Tyrone Power. Wonderfully old-fashioned, yet revealing about life back then. The racing sequences show so much about commentating, filming, celebration, clothes, fashion, morality. And then you look at Henry Fonda's life afterwards, caused by a meeting on that film, and the whole character of Jane Fonda is explained when you read about her background. Irish singer John McCormack showed how much music changes over the years. Can you imagine a hit these days called Believe Me If All Those Fascinating Young Charms? And back in 1937, performers were allowed paper lyrics to consult, pre-auto-cue. Watch the film if you can find it, and check it out on Wikipedia. Absolutely fascinating. Reminds me of when I went to see Barbara Streisand at Wembley once. My seat was right near the stage, and all her ad-libs, as well as all her lyrics, were on a giant auto-cue screen, including "Thank you for being such a wonderful audience." It's some time since I've been into the Vue, or is it called the View, in Westfield. The reason I did last Saturday was because I've found Saturdays, which actually politicians are now saying you really shouldn't travel in central London on a Saturday if you're Jewish. That's ridiculous. A, I'm not Jewish, and B, I found you shouldn't travel into it because of all the protesters, some of whom are Palestinian and some of whom are Israeli. But the roads get closed, the number of people protesting, and in my opinion, quite rightly on both sides, are enormous, just ridiculous. So since Saturday is the day I like to go to see films, and I wanted to see The Zone particularly because it's been very well tipped, and actually the sound in it was terrific. I thought, I looked it up and I found that there was a showing at the Vue. So I drove down there with no problem at all. But the whole of the Westfield shopping centre has been completely changed and modernised since I was last in it a few months ago, I suppose, before Christmas. I think I was there in November doing some Christmas shopping. And it's all been thoroughly modernised. The entry now, you don't get given a ticket, which is fine because the whole thing then happens automatically, as long as you can remember your registration number plate, which of course I forget everything. I forget everyone's names, I forget everyone's titles, I forget who I am most of the time, and I certainly can't remember things like the registration number of my car. So I had to come out and take a look at baby car, see the number plate, go back and put it in. Having done that, it all worked perfectly. And the rest of the shopping centre at Westfield is very, very slick and modern, with extremely expensive shops in there, as well as your ordinary ones where you buy your things you need. Waitrose is there, Marks and Spencer's there. I do like it. I think it's actually a very clean, very together, very bright, very modern place. And I was quite surprised. It was pretty packed. There were absolutely enormous queues, especially for some of the restaurants, especially the biggest queue of all seemed to be for Nando's. I can't see why anybody would ever want to go to Nando's, but obviously hundreds and hundreds of people do. Perhaps I should try it.
Streets full of people, all alone. Roads full of houses, never home. Church full of singing, out of tune. Everyone's gone to the moon. Sugar, ah, sugar, sugar, you are mine. It only takes a minute, girl, to fall in love, to fall in love. It only takes a minute, girl, to fall in love, to fall in love. I can feel the morning sunlight, I can smell the new mown hay, I can hear God's voices calling for my golden skylight gray. Una paloma blanca, I'm just a bird in the sky.
Hi, Anya. Yeah, it's Officer Pear. I promised I'd call. I'm in Eastbourne. Not yeast. East. I'm retired now. Not tyres like on cars. Retired. Left the police. Yeah. So I'm afraid I won't be able to help you anymore. But I promised I'd phone you. No, not alone. Phone. I've been looking around for years. Nothing definite, but I've heard of a person of interest. Yeah, a possible person of interest. Yeah. Nothing firm, just someone whose name keeps cropping up. TV host. TV, television. No, not a transvestite. Look, I've got to go. Bye, love. Bloody foreigners. Miserable here. Never stops raining. Never see the sun.
This world's becoming a gay one. I used to think it a grey one, but I discovered it's A1 just now. It's taken on a new meaning, it's very nice to be seen in. There's been a little spring cleaning somehow. Who's been polishing the sun, rubbing out the clouds of grey? They must have known just how I like it, everything's coming my way. Who's been teaching all the birds how to sing around a lay? They must have known just how I like it, everything's coming my way. Yesterday everything looked anyhow, then I met someone and look at it now. Who's been polishing the sun, rubbing out the clouds of grey? They must have known just how I like it, everything's coming my way. Tell me who's been polishing the sun, sweeping all the stormy clouds away? They must have known just how I like it, every little thing's gonna be okay. Tell me who's been teaching all the birds how to sing a merry roundelay? They must have known just how I like it, everything's coming my way. Yesterday everything looked anyhow, then I fell in love with the sweetest little girl, and look at me now. Why don't you tell me who's been polishing the sun, sweeping the clouds away? They must have known just how I like it. Oh, oh, come on, let's go. Yum, bum, 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 la, la, lee, pom, pom. They must have known just how I like it. Bye, bum, bum, pom, la, la, lee, pom, pom. They must have known just how I like it, everything's coming my way. Yesterday everything looked anyhow, then I fell in love with the sweetest little girl, and look at me now. Who's seen polishing the sun? They must have known just how I like it, everything's coming my way.
It's still just before the Oscars last weekend, and I have to say I've managed to see The Holdovers, the main film in the all the categories that I hadn't yet got to see, because it's only available online and through various things. It's not yet in cinemas, or only just in cinemas. And I thought I ought to look at it because it did get quite a few nominations. Well, I have to say, for me, it was the best film of the year. I thought it was fabulous, and the 3 actors in it deserved awards. So let's see what happens in the Oscars as a sort of rather a surprise. It's a typical well-made American films. And you know, as what I do, the Americans tend to make films better than anyone else if they're at their peak. Especially films that could be really sentimental and cloying unless they're done with a very clever touch, which to me The Holdovers is. Fabulous and great acting. My award for the film of the year. I've been trying to make films myself over the past few years, and I had many calls and messages about the Dennis Corday story that actually is the first few minutes of my Guilty film, which you can see for free online.
I've seen it on your face. Tells me more than any worn-out old phrase. So now we'll go separate ways. Never again, we two. Never again, nothing I can do. Like an image passing by, my love, my life, in the mirror of your eyes. My love, my life, I can see it all so clearly. Answer me sincerely. Was it a dream, a lie, like reflections of your mind? My love, my life, are the words you try to find. My love, my life, but I know I don't possess you. So go away, God bless you. You are still my love and my life, still my one and only. I watched you look away. Tell me, is it really so hard to say, oh, this has been my longest day? Sitting here close to you, knowing that maybe tonight we're through. Like an image passing by, my love, my life, in the mirror of your eyes. My love, my life, I can see it all so clearly. Answer me sincerely. Was it a dream, a lie, like reflections of your mind? My love, my life, are the words you try to find. My love, my life, but I know I don't possess you. So go away, God bless you. You are still my love and my life. Yes, I know I don't possess you. So go away, God bless you. You are still my love and my life, still my one and only.
There's not a lot of terrestrial television worth watching, so I found myself hooked on various different shows on the drama channel. The amazing Marlowe Murder Club is great fun, starring Samantha Bond. My problem is Samantha Bond, who used to be Moneypenny in the Bond movies, reminds me very much of Linda Bellingham, who I think looks quite similar, and I was sad to see died, and also Barbara Flynn, who's in the Death in Paradise spin-off with Chris Marshall in, and I always think she's Linda Bellingham or Samantha Bond. I'm getting old. My social life continues with dinners and teas and breakfasts and lunches, but so does the world of politics and the law, and the post office scandal hit a new high when Parliament passed a new law which actually says that ministers considered adding postmasters whose applications to the Criminal Case Review Commission have been turned down, but their cases had not got as far as the Court of Appeal, and so they will be cleared. Fascinating. That basically means that the government feels the CCRC is no longer fit for purpose. Lunch with Paul Whiffin, one of Britain's top film directors, who works with me on many of my films, and occasionally I buy him lunch, although he takes forever to order and waffles on and drives me mad. I really don't know why I put up with him. Actually, to be honest, I really don't know why he puts up with me, but I suspect it's the delicious food I always buy, ranging from fabulous chicken to all sorts of delicious soups with wonton and other such matters in them. That's it for A Victim Bites Back, show 72. See you next time.